Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good rainy, misty morning to you. Um, I am canning beans today. Black eyed peas and some lima beans. Never canned black eyed peas or lima beans, so I'm doing something different. Today I thought I would bring you some tips out of this book. It was copyrighted in 1957. And this is sponsored by Pond Fork Cooperative Extension Club, Pond Fork, Missouri. Don't know where Pond Fork, Missouri is. Um, Let me read like the title page here. These practical, useful hints were selected from hundreds of home recipe books produced by the Walsworths for organizations throughout the United States for many years. Keep this book within reach at all times and consult it often. It will save you time, work, and money and add sparkle to the day-to-day routine of housekeeping. Um, it was the Walsworth Publishing Company in Marcinon, Missouri. I think that's up north. I'm not 100%. But it was copyrighted in 1957. It has hints on kitchen measurements, cooking, baking, candy, picnic, canning, food freezing, sewing, laundry, time savers, children, flowers, gardening, insects, painting, cleaning, health and accident tips, business laws, U.S. presidents, state capital, miscellaneous, and holidays in the U.S. So I am going to read some of these tips until someone comes in here. At least 15 minutes, maybe 20. I don't know. Until my voice holds out. So, kitchen measurements 60 drops equals a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons equals 1 dessert spoon, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon, 4 tablespoons equals a fourth a cup, 16 tablespoons equals a cup, 2 cups equals a pint, 2 pints equal a quart, 4 quarts equal a gallon, 11 quarts equals a peck, 4 pecks equals a bushel, 16 ounces equals a pound, 2 cups of liquid equals a pound, 4 cups of flour equals a pound, 2 cups of granulated sugar equals a pound. So okay, let's finish. 2 cups of solid meat equals a pound. 2 cups of butter or shortening equals a pound. 1 pound of brick butter equals 2 cups. 9 medium-sized eggs equals a pound. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that 9 eggs equals a pound. 4 tablespoons of flour equals an ounce. 2 teaspoons of butter or salt equal an ounce. 1 ounce of chocolate equals a fourth cup of cocoa. 1 square bitter chocolate equals an ounce. 1 pack of tomatoes equals 15 pounds. Well, I don't know about that one. 1 bushel of plums equals 50 pounds. 1 bushel of pears equals 48 pounds. A bushel of peaches equals 48 pounds. A bushel of apples equals 44 pounds. A number 1 can. These a lot of your older recipes calls for like a certain number of can. So number 1 can equals 1 1/3 cup. Number 2 can equals 2 1/2 cups. Number 2 1/2 can equals 3 1/2 cups. Hello, Kimberly. Number 3 can equals 4 cups. I'm just reading out of this book right here, all the tips, and I figured people might enjoy these tips. Um, Oven temperatures. A slow oven is 250 to 350 degrees. Moderate oven is 350 to 400. Hot oven is 400 to 450. Very hot oven is 450 to 500. Because I know a lot of your older recipes, it just says to bake it in a moderate oven. Now we know it. Moderate oven is about 350. Roasting time. For beef rare, the temp is 300 and you roast for 18-20 minutes. Beef medium, at temperature 300 and you roast for 22 to 25 minutes. Beef well done is temperatures 327 to 30 minutes. Fillet of beef. Yeah, I thought this is copyrighted in 1957, and I thought I'd read some of these hints because we could still, some of these hints probably could use them still. Fillet of beef, 500 is the temp, 20 to 30 minutes. Roast lamb, your oven is set at 300 and it's 30 to 35 minutes. Pork, 350 for 20 to 25 to 30 minutes. Veal, temp is 300 and it's 30 to 35 minutes. Fish is 400, 15 to 20 minutes. Chicken, your temp is 300 from 25 to 30. Duck or goose, temp is 325 to 25 minutes. Turkey, 300 degrees, 20 to 25 minutes. I think you need to roast your turkeys longer than 20-25 minutes unless it's like a turkey breast or something of that nature. Now your times and temperature. Your bread, yeast bread, is 375 degrees for 1 hour. Your cake, angel, or sponge, which this is true, 325. Most recipes, I've made angel cakes or a sponge cake, and it usually takes about an hour. And it's usually 325 or somewhere in there. Cookies, plain, 375. It's a temp, 10 to 15 minutes. We need to check that out for Gail's elf cookies and see if that is, your plain cookies, if that is usually in the recipe at 375, 10 to 15 minutes. All the ones I've done, it's about that time. Cream puff shells, which I've never made. It's temperature. It has two different temperatures for the cream puff shells. 450, and you cook it for 20 minutes. Then 325 for 20 minutes. Okay, that's like a pumpkin pie. Usually pumpkin pies are like that. Custard temp is 350 for 40 minutes. Cup custard is 350 to 30 to 35 minutes. I've done maybe once or twice like the cup custards in the oven, but not, I don't remember what the temp was or the time. I don't remember. Fish, baked, stuffed, 400 degrees for an hour. Fish fillet, 450 for 25 minutes. Pudding, Indian, 400 degrees for 30 minutes. Pie crust, one crust, is 450 degrees for 10 minutes, then 325 for 30 minutes. I don't think, of all the pie crusts that I've made, I don't think you change the temp. It's all one temp. I don't remember right off the top of my head what the temp was. Parker House Rose, 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Steak baked, sear at 500 for 20 minutes, then bake at 275 for 30 to 35 minutes. Making sure there isn't nothing really going on. Okay. Now we got our tips for turkey. Your hints on cooking. Um, if you spread the meringue on the pie so that it touches the crust on each side and bake in a moderate oven, 350 degrees, it should not shrink. I've done that a couple of times and it shrunk. Okay. If you desire a rich golden brown pie crust, brush cream over the crust and sprinkle lightly with sugar before placing it in the oven. Well, that's a good tip. That is a very good tip. Um, so we might have to try that on my other channel and this channel, one of the Pie November. Okay, simple but festive desserts during the season include small cups of custard, which have been well chilled and decorated with candied fruit. Serve with thin slices of fruit cake. That is something I've never had is fruit cake. I know there is a monastery that sells it here locally, but I've never had it because to me it's usually expensive, and I don't know if I like it. So okay. Do you throw out a lot of old coffee in your home? Don't waste a beverage. Sweeten it and add some plain gelatin, then mold, and you have a perfect and simple dessert served with cream, of course. Huh, that's interesting. You can make a coffee gelatin mold? That sounds, might have to try that and see if that works and see what that tastes like. While your custard is still hot and before you put it in the refrigerator to chill, cover it with wax paper or a bowl cover. This will keep a scum from forming on the top. Ice crystals will not form on top of ice cream made in refrigerator. If you wrap the tray in wax paper as soon as the ice cream is frozen and lower the temperature control, beating the cream thoroughly several times while it is freezing gives it a finer texture. I thought that was interesting about coffee too, Kimberly. I really did. I just never did think about making a coffee gelatin. That's something different. Use 2 tablespoons of minute tapioca to thicken your pies instead of flour. I think I've heard that one, but I've never done it. When sweetened rhubarb pie, substitute 2 tablespoons of red colored sugar for the regular sugar. The result is a beautiful colored and appetizing pie. I've never made a rhubarb pie. I do have rhubarb in the garden, but I know it takes a couple of years before you can harvest from it. If cream or custard sauce curdles, put the vessel in which is cooking in a pot of hot water and heat well. It will become smooth again. Too much sugar, too intense heat, or too long cooking will cause custards to be watery. Okay. When making blueberry, elderberry, or any flat berry pie, instead of adding lemon juice or vinegar, try 1 teaspoon of salt to a small pie and add 1.5 teaspoons to a large pie. Stir well and see how this will bring out the flavor of the berry. Well, I made elderberry elderberry syrup a couple days ago. I've been drinking a little bit of it, putting a little bit of my water just to see if that can get rid of this sinus gunky. Okay, peel raw potato, put it in fridge, will take up odors. That's interesting by peeling a raw potato, but would that be wasting the potato? Because potatoes are expensive right now. Okay. Moving on to, I don't even know what this page, 6, there's a page number. I'm going to kind of read this. Maybe I might do 30 minutes of this. I don't know. We're going to do, these hints on cooking. When making raisin pie, a little lemon juice or vinegar added will improve the flavor. Huh. I love raisin pie. My grandma made a good raisin pie. Never did get a recipe, but she made a good raisin pie. It takes 6 eggs to a quart of milk to make perfect baked custard. That's a good thing to remember. Never, well, I think I baked custard before, but I don't remember how much egg went into it. Add fresh grated coconut to vanilla ice cream and serve with rich chocolate sauce. This will not be found in any reducing diet, but it tastes like more. Okay. Hmm. In making rhubarb, cherry, or any berry pie that is very juicy, try beating a egg light and mixing it in the sugar required by the fruit. Add a little flour, mix thoroughly, and then baked as usual. In this way, excess of juice will be in the pie and not in the bottom of the oven. I might have to try that one because I'm planning on making um, I'm thinking about making a cherry pie or cobbler. To me, a cobbler is just the same as pie. But I've been thinking about doing that. Okay, half a small jar of jam or jelly folded in a cup of cream, whipped stiff will turn out a nice topping for puddings. That sounds good. Whipped jam to put on top of pudding. That would probably be better like a vanilla pudding or something like that. I don't think it would be good on chocolate unless it's strawberry jam. To keep berry or fruit pies from running over, take a strip of cloth 1.5 inches wide around the edge of the crust. Worn out pillow slips make strips about the right length. Torn and placed in a fruit jar is a good way to keep them, and they are always ready. I don't think I could use that because I bake in a toaster oven. And I agree, yummy cherry pie. Cherry pie is like my third favorite a pie. My favorite is lemon meringue, and then second is apple. Put a layer of marshmallows in bottom of pumpkin pie, then filling. Marshmallows will come to top and make a nice topping. Ooh, that my hubby's been wanting a pumpkin pie, and I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna highlight that tip, y'all. I know this is an old book, but it's my book, and I'm gonna highlight that, man. Oh, it's not gonna work with this brown paper. But I like that idea. I bet you that would make a very good topping for the marshmallow. I'm gonna have to try that when I make my pumpkin pie. In making fruit pies, put sugar in between 2 layers of fruit, as sugar next to top crust toughens it. Huh. I made blackberry and I always put like sugar on the crust. When making egg custard pies, always heat the milk to the boiling point before mixing with the eggs. If this rule is followed, the undercrust will be crisp. Hmm. To avoid heating up the kitchen to brown meringue, heat a heavy iron skillet and turn upside down over meringue until golden brown. That's interesting. When making apple pies, if you put a layer of apples in your crust, then your sugar, cinnamon, and lemon juice, or whatever you use, then apples on top of the sugar again, your pies will not run over in the oven. Huh. When making juicy pies, cut the lower crust 1/2 inch larger than the top, fold it over like a hem. The juice will not leak out readily. Now, I've done that, and it does leak, at least on the blackberries. Um, Grate a little lemon rind and mayonnaise for fruit salads. That sounds good. Let's see. Seeing where this one ends. Oh, there's a lot of hints on cooking. Mark a bright colored circle slightly larger than your favorite pie tin, either in enamel or on your pastry board or indelible ink on your pastry canvas. Roll out your pie crust to fit the circle. It will always just it will always it will always be just right size for the tin. In cooking pumpkin for pies, wash it thoroughly and cut in pieces and cook with the peeling on. Then put through a colander and it will save time and also improve the flavor. I have cooked pumpkin and made the whole pumpkin pie from scratch. I usually cook the pumpkin and then I scrape out the gooey stuff and then I put it in the freezer. But I've heard you could can it as well. I will probably finish this page and probably stop for our little kitchen tips from this. Um, let's see. Sometimes when milk utensils are put in soapy dishwater, the cloth becomes slick and hard to handle. In such a case, throw in a generous handful of salt and your trouble is ended. Do not mix salads until they are ready to serve. Well, that's a no-brainer there. An equal quantity of whipped cream added to salad dressing gives a smoother and better tasting product. To stretch your salad dressing or mayonnaise, add some pickle juice. Gives a good flavor. Pickle juice is good for you. I'm not much of a fan of pickle juice, but it's good for you. If your boiled salad dressing curdles in making, a few turns of the egg beater will set it right. Rub the new wooden salad bowl with the olive oil daily for a period of 10 days and it will season it delightfully for the salads to come. I haven't seen a wooden salad bowl in forever. I know they still make them out there, but I haven't seen one in forever. Apples may be used in almost any salad recipe to give added crispness and crunchiness. I only like apples in my fruit salad. So, I don't know why. I don't know. For cutting meats, etc., for salads, use scissors instead of a knife for speed and ease. Never did do that either. Cook and fry eggs at low temperature to prevent them from becoming tough. I've never had tough eggs, but there's always a first time. When cooking eggs, wet the shells thoroughly with cold water before placing them in the boiling water. This will ensure against cracking. I've had eggs crack when I was boiling hard-boiled eggs. When beating egg whites, do not tap beater on bowl of egg whites. The jar of the beater will cause the whites to lose a great deal of fluffiness. The beater should be tapped on the hand to clear off the whites. 1 tablespoon very cold water added to 1 egg white is equal to 2 egg whites. Slice bananas with a silver knife and they won't turn dark. A lot of good tips in here. I think I'm going to stop right there and then we'll probably pick up another live and let's read some more of these tips. I think these are some of them we can use now. I mean, some of them are very important. Some of the ways that back then is very useful and some of the ways aren't. But I thought I'd read a little bit out of this wherever this was published in Pond Fork, Missouri, which I've never heard of that Missouri town, but I guess it might be a big town. It might be a small town. I don't know. Oh, it was published in Marcinland, Missouri. I've heard of that one. But I'm going to stop right there. And you're very welcome, Kimberly. I'm going to stop right there for today. So keep making those things from scratch. And if you don't know how to make things from scratch, kind of find your cookbook and start making things from scratch. I would prefer I myself would prefer you to use ones that are a little bit older, not the new ones, unless you trust the information. Because I've heard through other channels that AI has been producing a lot of cookbooks out there, so kind of, and putting recipes online. So kind of be careful when you're picking out recipes. You got to have a little bit of knowledge, but not a whole lot of knowledge. So, and Kimberly, you have a nice day and weekend as well. But I thought I'd put that out there about AI. Kind of watch on your recipes. If it don't seem like it should, that's the way to make it, then it's probably maybe AI produce recipe, but who knows. Um, so I shall keep making these things from scratch, and God bless.